Paranormal. It surrounds us. It's everywhere. Tonight, you will hear from the people who live and work within these highly active locations. All in the efforts to discover America's most haunted. Most haunted. With your host, ghost hunter and author, Dan Terry.
Good evening, boys and ghouls. I am Dan Terry, your ghost host with the most haunted. But we're going to step just a little bit away from that because I have got a guest here that you're going to find pretty incredible. The stuff he's been showing me, I'm amazed. Austin Maynard, and he is a ghost hunter, but he's kind of moved on, and now he is creating equipment, amazing equipment. You're going to love seeing some of this stuff. He has created or founded, I guess I should say, the Underground Paranormal Network, which is a group of 5 lesser known but very haunted locations in Ohio. Plus, he's got people who build ghost hunting equipment and a bunch of researchers who are using this new fancy state-of-the-art equipment to bring it to the people, to test it out, to show the results of it. He experiments with different types of communication devices, and he showed me one. You're going to be amazed. Guys, you know how much that way. I love Ouija boards. I don't use them myself. I prefer dowsing rods, but wait till you see this Ouija board he's come up with, or talking board, if you will. And he's working on something, and I can't wait to get more information. But the way it was described is an artificially induced astral travel experience. And I can't wait to find out more about that. So let's bring Austin on and find out what's going on.
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Not bad. I appreciate you coming on. And we've talked a little bit, but I really want to know more. You were a ghost hunter. You were convinced this stuff is real. Now you're finding better ways to communicate with them.
I don't know about better. Different.
Okay, different ways. What made you go that direction instead of doing what the rest of us do, and that's just trying out the new equipment and deciding what works?
Well, I guess I needed a little bit more than that. I wanted more than that. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm a lot more curious than the average person, and so I'm also known to be quite obsessive sometimes. Okay. So, I dove into it, and the more you dive into it, the more questions you end up having. And I did the ghost hunting thing for almost 10 years. And I don't know. I was communication ended up seeming too easy to, you know what I mean? It's if you have the right equipment, you get all kinds of interaction, whatever. It just depends. But plus, I think the person's energy has a lot to do with it as well. But I guess I felt like it wasn't really giving me any answers. You know what I mean? It was only. Yeah, something's talking to me, maybe something's communicating with me, it seems, but these devices aren't necessarily telling me anything except that, there's an anomaly of some sort, right? So if I wanted to find answers, I can't just continue to hope that somebody else will find them for me, right?
Good, yeah.
And so I guess I took it upon myself to try to find my own answers, and I decided to step back from actually on-site ghost hunting, which I do occasionally still do that. I'll still get out there and either test some equipment or, plus I'm in one of my haunted locations almost weekly. So, I'm always around, everything I do is paranormal. So like the ghost hunting aspect is almost like I've evolved from it, I guess, not in a way that's looking, you know what I mean? But it's just, I've moved past it to a point where I need especially when we start talking about the experiments that I do with JW, like those have really opened my eyes in a lot of ways to what we may or may not be dealing with.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, I just don't jive with the, the EMF REM pod stuff and the K2s and like the ghost box communication, EVPs. Those are great and all, but they're so like, I guess I got bored with it after a while because it's like, well, is that the most I can get, or hope for a visual image or something of some sort that people are still going to be skeptical about?
Absolutely.
So I need something, and I've kind of driven myself on this. Just if a skeptic can easily debunk it, then it's not worth putting out there. And so I'll put it. I mean, yeah, everything is circumstantial, right? Like each individual experience is different. But when we're talking about like proof or finding the true evidence of the other side,
right?
I think as far as our understanding within the paranormal field, I mean, we've been stagnant for 20 years or more, I mean, it's still the same kind of concepts with, honestly, the technology even is very similar. It's all been kind of the same throughout the last few decades. I mean, some things have advanced, of course. Technology has advanced, and so there's different things, but call and response is the typical, right, of some sort. But everybody's got REM pods, everybody's got the cat balls now, everybody's got a spirit box or a ghost box of some sort of record. Like, it's just that standard stuff, but none of it tells us truly anything. It's all circumstantial, and so we need data. We need but for me, I'm not so much a scientist, and so but I love experimentation and finding different methods to communicate and interact with whatever is there.
Right.
I just have different viewpoints on it now, like the way, like what I think that we are communicating with and whatever, like that I think has changed since since I've started working with him. It's definitely changed.
Well, I have tried the trigger devices. I've tried the Ovilus. I owned the Ovilus One. I'm sure the new ones are better, but I've owned all of that stuff, and I cannot. And maybe it's me. Maybe it's the person. I can't do better than I can with a K2 meter and a set of dowsing rods, because when those two confirm, when they both are going off, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's to each his own, right?
Yeah. But you have went so far beyond that, and in this, you was the technical, I guess what do you say, paranormal technical expert for Nick Groff's Deathwalker, right?
Yeah, in seasons 3, 4, and 5, I wouldn't say I was the expert. I was the paranormal tech manager. So I would basically provide Nick with equipment and set up different experiments at a few different locations, because I traveled around with him for 11 episodes in season 4, and then season 3 and season 5. Season 3 I was only on like 4 episodes, but season 5 I was on site with them a couple of times, but I wasn't. We're not trying. I'm not the focus of the show.
Sure.
But like that, I just more or less have a lot of connections, and I network with a lot of the builders. Not all of them, but a lot of them, and some of them are my really close friends, and I take a lot of pride in that. I have the greatest mentors on the planet, in my opinion, when J.W. Prather, K.D. Stafford, and Stephen Katie Halte. They've all taught me various things and have brought me to, they got me started, got the ball rolling, and have helped, kind of guide me through my journey in that way. And so, I mean, it's just, I have to give credit where credit is due,
Oh, absolutely. Now, I had in one investigation, the most incredible, amazing results on video. It's incredible with the old SB7. What do we got now that can match that?
Well, honestly, I prefer using the IDC Direct Link,
Okay.
or the Nanocom, or whatever KD Stafford has right now. And but a lot of that is because they have random codes.
Okay.
So I prefer a random scan, which, just jumping around the stations. But the thing that separates JWs and KDs is that JWs actually, so JWs is actually scanning through about 2,500 frequencies.
Okay.
We have models also that do 3,500, and even a couple that do close to 10,000.
Is that running on both AM and FM?
Nope, just FM.
Just FM. Okay. I think these old ones I just had on AM, but I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so these ones, it's using a standard TEA 5767, which is just it's that choppy kind of sound. But the thing is that a normal SB7 has roughly 200 steps, or like a normal radio has roughly 200 steps. Now the SB7 I think has a little more, but the new ones actually I think have a lot more than just what the initial ones did. But it's like let's say 97.1, 97.3, 97.5, but I think he added in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it wasn't just the odd numbers. But so with JW, he actually went in and did like 97.11, 97.12, 97.13, and he actually goes from like I want to say like 75 megahertz all the way up to 108 or 109 megahertz, like a little bit below and a little bit above, and then he's just jumping around randomly. Now the things that is really cool is the direct link part, which is you have to make contact with the antenna jack with your finger, and you become the direct link to the other side.
Now that's
the
incredible.
Device is just the device.
Mm-hmm. So that is a whole different ball game.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that each person that holds it will affect the device differently. And there's some people that, and I've personally witnessed it a number of times. There was the Great Lakes Paracon I went to a couple of years ago out in Wisconsin, Glen Beulah Schoolhouse. It was held there. And then we did the investigation at the asylum in Sheboygan. And throughout that entire investigation, I was using a direct link, and we had various people throughout the entire, probably 100 people came throughout the groups, right? Okay. And no, we weren't getting anything through the device. It was dead quiet the whole time until one guy came up and he held it and he started getting just all kinds of answers. And then we would take it away from him, give it to somebody else, thinking like, oh, it's just the written. Nope, nothing. And so we give it back to him. Come to find out, we were up on the drug and alcohol recovery ward, and he was a recovering alcoholic. And so there's that almost like that connection that he can make with the patients that maybe nobody else that came through there had, And so that was just one example of how it definitely differs. But there's also people that will hold it and it starts screeching or whatever, but they hand it to somebody else and it sounds great, So and you add the echo and reverb, and plus there's all the different, there's a ton of inputs and outputs for ITC experimentation. Like you can do a double SDs method and still record multiple steps along the way. It's really because we've noticed something called what JW calls is a direct applied voice, a DAV.
Okay.
And so what we have, they're a form of EVP that we've kind of found. It's basically a voice that is, so the best way to describe it is you have the path of the signal that comes through the circuit, and the circuit goes the tuner, into the echo reverb board, into the amplifier, out the speaker. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So everything that comes out of the amplifier, because of the echo and reverb board, should have echo and reverb, right?
Right.
Like there's no circuitry, you can't jump a circuit. You know what I mean? It has to have the echo and reverb. So when you have that on and everything is coming through with repeating itself, right? But then you get a sentence that comes in real clear, but it doesn't repeat itself.
Okay.
But the voices before and after both are repeating. And it's over like multiple frequencies, and so that is more, we are saying that, so that's where the multiple steps along the way come in. But our explanation, our conceptual explanation for it, I guess, is that there is something that's imprinting its voice or applying its voice after the echo and reverb board at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea is that you have input and output jacks before the echo and reverb and after the echo and reverb, and also after the amplifier. So you can actually record each step of the way and check and see if there's any changes in the audio, as in, if there was a voice that came through that didn't have echo and reverb, but it's on, then you check the tuner's audio, direct audio, right?
Mm-hmm.
See if that voice was on there. And if it wasn't, then you know that something came in and what was that? But the crazy thing is that I find I get a lot of them. I get a lot more than I would think.
Okay. So what you're saying is it's got, if I'm understanding correctly, you've got the regular going through all the channels and the words get picked out. Randomly. And in the middle of that, bam, there's a word or a sentence that is completely different from all the rest of it. This is, like you said, this is an EVP, not a radio thing.
Yeah. And we know that it's not radio because if it came from the tuner, it would absolutely 100% have the echo and reverb, because the signal cannot jump circuits. It can't jump us. It will not work that way.
And what did Groff think of this equipment? Has he used this?
Oh, yeah. Nick has a couple of different, I think he has at least one direct link. And also I've supplied him I've let him use my 2K, which is an expanded version of that. I've let him use, he's used a number of the IDC devices equipment.
And he's enthralled with it. Okay.
If you watch season 4 and season 5 of Deathwalker, he uses it a few different times, actually, a few different episodes. There's even one that called the FXM, which is the FX with a microphone. Okay. And it has a little mic on top that you can talk into. And so your voice and their voice are coming through the same physical medium. Mm-hmm. And so and also the microphone is picking up the ambient audio and looping it back in too. So it's like a whole, yeah, it's a whole system in just this little handheld device.
So this is all 2 generations ahead of what I'm still using and a lot of the other folks here, or more.
I mean, yeah, you could say that, but it's just, from my perspective, it's because these devices have been out since 2014, 2015, and most people aren't aware of them, but they've been used on a lot of the TV shows. It's so for me, it's everybody's just now finding out about this. But they are amazing devices. You would spend thousands of dollars to get the capabilities that you have with this one device in the hand for $380 or something. I think that has the max capabilities.
What other equipment do you have there this year with IDC and you?
With IDC and me. So one of them is the IDC indicator.
This one earlier, yeah.
Yeah,
What
so
is it?
this is actually the Indicator Pro. Now, this actually has static polarity changes. Let me see if I can get it. Yep, there it goes. And it's directional too, so one side or the other, right? Oh, yeah. But
Right.
then there is a an EMF detector too, but it's a AC EMF. So let me see. And it's got flexible filament on the top that's blue.
Uh-huh.
Right now, I just got this tape over top because I got it glue. I'm waiting for the glue to dry on it, but
Gotcha.
it's got a little tripod mount on the back. It runs on a 9-volt. Yeah, but these are pretty cool. They work more closer to the theories behind a lot of the equipment, which is photons. We work a lot on photons because photons are not just light. I mean, they're the foundational particle of the universe, of the existence, really. Without
Okay.
photons, none of us exist. So they carry more than just light; it's information, you know. So when you go based on that assumption, we get into quantum physics, it gets pretty
Okay.
deep. But so when you go based on that assumption, you can look at how photons or particles in the air may like the charge of the particle, right?
Mhm.
Like the charge of the particles we don't typically look at, right? Especially mostly because most people don't really look into the quantum level of things. But our entire universe is quantum is just small scale of our entire universe. Everything that we exist in is made up of some kind of particles, whether it's
Mhm.
both, and so if we get down to those scales, all the atmosphere and the air around us is filled with stuff. And so there's particles, there's charges in the air, ambient charges, right?
Okay.
So the natural static polarity of a room. And so that's why, like in a dry room, you could rub your feet on the carpet and generate the opposite and then shock your sister or something, right? But if we're not doing anything and we're not in that room, and the polarity of the charge switches from like positive to negative or negative to positive, typically we're not looking at that.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're not. So we've started to try to integrate and look into that kind of stuff. Just to, I don't know, it's a different path, I guess. It's one of the different paths that we're looking into.
So it doesn't just find electromagnetic energy, it's finding the photons that create it.
Essentially, yeah. And just looking at how they change. So, like specifically with this one, it's looking for the change in static polarity, whether it goes from positive to negative or negative to positive. Now, with the AC EMF detector, that's more or less. So these detectors, man, they are weird. We have had with the interaction with the indicator, we've actually had some really weird results, and we're not really sure why.
Can you tell us a little more about it?
Yeah, so when you think about the difference between AC current and DC current, right? Alternating current comes out of your outlet, whereas DC current comes from a battery. Now, the DC current, you're not going to be able to pick up EMF on that. The alternating current is what creates electromagnetic field. So when you have like a wire going through, like for my hot glue gun, right? I'll turn it on. This will detect this, right? But let me see, for instance, this right here. This is a fully charged, rechargeable 12-volt battery. Like I could take all of these leads.
Okay.
Not going to get anything because it's a direct current rather than an alternating current. It needs to be alternating in order to create that field. And so when you're looking at like a REM pod, for instance, it's creating an electromagnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
So it's creating like a radiating electromagnetic field, a REM field. And if that field is broken, then that's more or less proximity.
Right.
But it can also be manipulated by walkie-talkies and various things like that.
Yes.
This cannot be manipulated by walkie-talkies.
Okay.
This actually has to detect a flowing magnetic or a flowing electrical current, or like true electromagnetic. But you shouldn't get anything typically if you're in an abandoned house or whatever. But we've been finding that we've been, that it's been picking it up, and you'll hear it start beeping or chiming when you're in another room. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. And so at some level, we're thinking that it's actually, this is more or less like truly showing the disruption of the electromagnetic field, right?
Okay.
Rather than your, because like I personally don't trust K2s, and a Mel meter will show it, but most people are not looking at the screen all the time. But this is kind of similar in the detection aspect, the sensor aspect of it.
Let me throw this one out, because I was on an investigation many, many, many years ago.
Okay.
We was at a old, not abandoned, it was an airport that they turned into a museum. And the guy brought in a tri-field meter, which was going off, and everything looked cool until we realized it was going off every time the radar at the new airport came around. Would this change, avoid that?
That is a good question, and I do not know the answer to that one. I'll be honest, that is a unique situation that I have never been in, but that's a good one. I feel like that should be tested.
It turned me off of tri-field meters because they had too much information, but only one way of expressing it.
Yeah. It may or may not affect the indicator side of it, because the indicator side does work off of the triboelectric field. And so if a tri-field meter is going haywire with the radar, then I'm going to right off the bat assume it would have the same effect. Now the EMF detector is a different story. I don't know. Okay.
Well, I was just curious because that came up. I have to step away for a commercial, but hang loose because I want to come back and talk about the stuff you're building. All right?
Okay.
All right. Stand by. New equipment, man. This is really cool because, again, folks, I'm 62 years old. I'm old. I like the old equipment, the stuff I started with back in '79, a recorder, a camera, now just a simple K2 meter and the rods, because when those two work together, that's pretty cool. But he's getting some equipment that is reading things that I think it's a new step. It is the next step in ghost hunting. And you're watching us talk about being on the cusp of it, even though he said it's been around for a while. And some other things I want you to check out and watch this. I'll be right back.
The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from Unex Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to Research a Haunted House can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unexmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unexmedia.com or amazon.com. The truth, it's out there, and it's waiting for you. The Unexplained Network is your source for the best in paranormal programming, live video streaming, and audio streaming from hauntings, UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids, and the ever-expanding realm of the unexplained. Listen live or on demand now on Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeart, and Pockets all over the World Wide Web. The Unexplained Network, where unexplained lives.
Okay, guys, we'll talk more about the Onyx Network at the end. I'm trying to get you all to join up because there's so many things going on, so much stuff you can learn. But I want to get back to Austin here because I want to talk about the equipment that he's created and shown. So aside from IDC, you've been working on your own stuff now.
Oh yeah, I've been building my own stuff since I want to say 2022.
Okay.
It's been a few years now. I really started with ITC, of course. All my friends and mentors are ITC guys. But I've grown into kind of expanding into all kinds of challenges. If there's something cool that I think might be useful or something that I think could be modified or whatever, I'll try it out. I'll experiment around with it and tinker with it. And, I think I've developed a whole bunch of new skills in this journey, including smelting. Never done smelting before, but I tried to do it once.
Okay.
It is okay. I need practice.
Now, by smelting, you're talking about using liquid metal?
Mm-hmm. Like using a I used a blowtorch to melt it, but just to fill a crack in some metal. Yeah.
Okay.
I had to learn how to do that. I was like, all right, well, let me try it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have done better, but I got the gist of it down. But yeah, so I now have a wide range of skills and like things that I know. So if anybody comes to me, a lot of times I have done it before or I've done some variation of it. But if not, I love the challenge.
Okay.
It's like, I might be able to do that, and I'm going to see if I can,
Well, you showed me the talking board earlier, and that's intriguing. Can you talk more about that one for us?
Yes. So the talking illumination board is basically I don't want to call it a Ouija board because it's not, but
it's a different word. Yeah.
It's because a talking board, a spirit board. There were various names about it, but this one has illuminated letters, and this one is for Joe Simpson. I just completed his. I got to send it out here pretty soon, but I hand draw all of this. So all the logos, his logo and everything. And when I turn, it's got a rechargeable 12-volt battery, but as you can see, I can manipulate the letters just by waving my hand over top of it. But people have been having some real success with it lighting up without anybody over top of it. The Wildwood Sanitarium in Salamanca, New York.
Right.
They have one, and they've had a lot of success with theirs. One of the owner's husband, Zach, he sent me a video of his. He walked in. It's in this parlor room. He walked in and asked how the spirits were doing, and it spelled out DIE.
Okay.
And he said, and I was like, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
Not so good then, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not. But that was just wild to me. I did not expect for them to work as well as I thought they would. As well, you know what I mean? I thought it was a cool device, another cool device to add to the collection. But for some reason, these sensors seem to be a little more sensitive, or I don't know, because I've tried a whole bunch of near IR sensors, and when I say near IR, I don't mean PIR, which is that little like golf ball looking sensor that a lot of people know. Like, these are actually the transmitter receiver sensors that look for changes in light frequency. And so, they actually will detect the IR light coming off of my camera on my phone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So if I try to take a video of it, and actually in a lot of videos on my Instagram and my Facebook, you'll see all the lights going off when I'm just doing a video of it. It's because it's detecting a change in light frequency.
How far you have to get to video the session?
It depends, but most of the time it's like 5 or 6 feet. It's not far.
Okay.
Like you can still clearly make out, what's happening on a thing. But yeah, you got to just watch. It's really more angles and proximity to it.
Okay.
So, and plus, I don't think the IR light on my phone is all that powerful. But I imagine somebody with a real good IR camera or something, you know what I mean?
Okay. Any other equipment you want to show off today?
Oh man, I don't really. No.
Okay.
No, not at the moment. I have the FXM device that I was talking about earlier, the Direct Link that has all the inputs and outputs. The antenna jack right there, free in and out. There's 2 different ones because you got the microphone. So you got an in and out that has just the tuner audio, and then an in and out that has the tuner and the microphone audio.
Okay.
And so, it just so many different features and so many capabilities. I like to plug in one thing, and I like to take the audio out of one Direct Link and plug it into another, and then do the same thing back. So I do like an output here to the input, and then the output to the input. So you're like you can do some crazy audio experiments with these things. And that's kind of what got me into the building, more or less, is because my mentors, Steve and KD, and then JW, they all started to get real sick of me asking them to build them stuff or to build me stuff. So eventually they were like, you need to just start doing it yourself, because we can't do all the things you want. So but the experimentation is really what led me into starting to build my own stuff,
Okay. So how do those you've used them before, how do they operate as far as someone comes in, sits down, and starts talking to spirits? If the spirits want to talk, how does it come through?
It's literally, you can hear it's scanning, right?
Yeah, but it's a lot quieter.
You can hear my voice.
S7.
You hear my voice coming through? The antenna jack right there. There's a change in the audio.
Yes.
And so it's basically works just like a spirit box using the carrier waves, but it's also the white noise that, that really started the whole ghost box movement before Frank Sumption created the first ghost box, or automatic sweeping one, at least.
Okay. Yeah. But
it's really using like the radio waves, and because radio waves are photons,
right?
Like they are photons. Because photons also are, they're not just particles; they are waves.
And I know you're not ghost hunting a whole lot anymore, but what about the people who's getting this stuff, the equipment you're designing? What's their reactions?
Well, as far as I know, honestly, I haven't had a whole lot of complaints, and neither has JW, about the Direct Links. We've had some, like, they've upgraded some of the circuitry since we've been building them, because we've been building them for so long. And so some of the circuits have made some minor changes. So we've had to adjust in that, but it took us a minute to try to figure out like what was going on. Right.
Sure.
We have had just so, like, people love them, to be honest with you. People love them. Because of the direct link aspect of it, I think that makes it a little more tailored to the user. And so the user's energy really can give it very positive results or nothing, right?
Okay.
But then just adding in the ITC aspect, a lot of people are very what's the word I'm looking for? Like really adamant about recording and, going through the audio, with the headphones and the analyzer.
Sure.
Like, a lot of people are very committed to that. And so this gives those people the ability to look at the audio from, like I said earlier, multiple steps along the way, so they can actually see the difference, if there is any difference, between the audio from start to finish. And that's where you're going to find the fascinating, like if you really want to get into the ITC research aspect, you have the capability to do so with that.
Okay.
But if you were to have your normal, like a lot of people get the portals, right? And your portals, they have the noise suppressor. And that's one thing that this does not have. But with the bigger 2K versions, we actually add a bypass in there so you can have a noise suppressor. You can add one in if you wanted. But it does have the echo and reverb, and it gives you the ability to have a microphone, which you would have to add into a mixer and mix it all in there with the portal and everything.
Yes.
Plus you get the random 2500. This one actually has 3500, but the standard is 25. And it's just the Estes method too. A lot of people love the Estes method.
Yeah.
That's been very big over the last few years. And with this, you have the ability, headphone 1, which I think is actually right here on the front, cuts out the speaker. Headphone 2, audio, still running. Both are amplified for headphones.
Okay.
But while all of that's going on, you can still record from here, and here.
Okay.
While you're doing a double Estes method.
So by doing that, you can verify this is what I heard, and this is what the answer was.
Yep.
Okay, so other people can later on hear what this person under the no sound thing has heard.
Yep. Yeah, and actually you can have 2 people listening to the audio in 2 separate rooms. If you got like a splitter and you got wires long enough, you could have one person upstairs, one person downstairs listening to the same audio.
Okay.
And doing the Estes method at the same time, and they'll both get the same thing, and then you record, every step along the way. So not only are you verifying what they might have heard or said in response to your questions during the Estes session, but you can also look for the direct applied voices or any other audio anomalies within the ITC aspect of it. But wait, there's more. The pre-in and output, 1 and 2. So if you got a SB7, you have a Shack Hack, you have whatever other Spirit Box, Ghost Box model, whatever, if you have any of those, you got the output jack on that, plug it in to one of these.
Okay.
And it gives you a double tuner. And it all runs through the same thing, and you can still run the Estes method and do all of that at the same time. You could add an audio source here and here at the same time if you really wanted to. You would have to play around with the volume levels on everything, but it would run through this is one of my favorite devices. It's one of my go-tos, honestly. I take it everywhere with me.
That sounds pretty incredible, because what you're saying is you could hook up multiple devices to this and hear all of it in live time.
While doing double Estes method and recording every step of the way for the audio files that want to look for the anomalies.
And this stuff is available through, is it IDC?
IDCdevices.com under the store. It's actually, so the store has a different URL for some reason. I don't know why. It's IDC Devices paranormalequipment.com. But
Okay,
the store can be found under idcdevices.com.
that's what I'm saying. You can probably hit the
Yeah.
button and it'll go
Yeah,
straight
you
to that.
can, when you go to idcdevices.com, there is the option for the store. And this one, I want to say it's like $380 right now for this.
Okay.
Like some people charge $400 for a portal and you don't even get the tuner or anything else with it. Like this, less than $400.
So what's your next plan? Got any idea what you want to work on next?
Well, unfortunately, I have a list of probably 25 unfinished, or I have a list of orders 25 long for these talking illumination boards on top of the orders that we have for these.
Mhm.
So I'm fairly occupied, unfortunately, for the time being. I know that what we got coming up in September, we are going to the Western Block in Niagara Falls, Lockport, New York.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing the astro projection experiments. We call them the Travelers Experiments World Gate Project. I mean, we're taking over. We got, I don't know how many thousands of feet of cable for PoE cameras and audio, you know. I mean, we have 20 PoE cameras at least.
Well, let's talk about that because I did want to hit that before the show was up.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? Are you talking about actual moving through the astral plane, or are you talking about a simulation?
Well, have you heard of the Gateway process? I mean, it's kind of been flowing around lately. The CIA's remote viewing program.
I remember reading about that. Yes.
So
Stargate, I think.
Yeah, that was one of the programs. But actually, Stargate came off of the back of this. The Gateway process was founded by a guy, Ian Monroe, at the Monroe Institute. Well, not Ian Monroe, but Robert Monroe, I want to say. I don't know. It was some guy over at the Monroe Institute. And he developed this process of hemisync, which is syncing the left and the right sides of your brain in order to access, the full capabilities, I guess.
Okay.
But you had to do it using the right frequencies, and a lot of it came down to binaural beats. And so binaural beats actually came from that as well. But so what we're doing is hemisync. And by the way, the CIA kind of took over that project and then classified it for a number of years before just recently declassifying it in the last decade or so. But basically, yeah, you're inducing a trance-like state using binaural beats. And that's where kind of the artificial part comes in, but it's not really artificial. It's more or less using frequencies to trigger the brain's natural hemisync response, I guess. And with the right combination of frequencies, as well as using sacred geometry, numerology, using exact coordinates of the location. And so we actually lay out participants. If you were to look at it from a bird's eye perspective, they're laid out in a 5-point star with a center, and it's called a Seba. Now, Seba is sacred geometry. It's basically a 3D star. And it's very important to all of the mathematics. And then, there's a whole lot that goes into it, including ancient gematria too, which is the practice of assigning words to numbers. And so there's a whole lot of it's so hard to explain because participants are traveling somewhere. We don't know where, but we have found a lot of evidence of a shared reality outside of our own. And what we say by that, what we mean is we've had participants interact with each other physically, even. Like this last one we did at the Shanley Hotel in New York,
Mm-hmm.
we had a participant who physically manipulated two of the other participants, like not like she touched their foot and the person actually felt their foot being like pressed on or touched.
Okay.
Whereas there was another time where she saw another participant in the other side, like looking over a railing on a staircase, and she just ran up and pushed him over the staircase. But with the participant who got pushed said that he was just looking over here, and then all of a sudden he was thrown over the railing and fell down into the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And like you look at those correlate, it's like, how would they know? And we have very strict protocols with regards to like the participants communicating with each other.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the way that we do it is that we got to go one by one, and the participants have to stay in their spots the entire time. And
Okay.
however long each person takes in their interview or their exit interview, which is just relaying the story, just saying what you experienced. The person who's last to be interviewed might wait 4 hours before they finally get interviewed, and then we'll flip the rotation around the next time, to try to. But that's kind of, and then we've had people able to correctly identify items that they had never seen before that night, and like able to find them in the spot that we told them they were in. It's like, oh yeah, I found a pocket watch. Like a pocket watch in a box that JW had put in the third floor on a chair. Nobody had even knew he had this box. It's his little box of trinkets, I guess. And he carries it around with him everywhere. I didn't know this until just, a couple of them ago, but I didn't know what he has in the box. Like I just know he has this little trinket box.
Mm-hmm.
And he made one of the experiments was all the participants tried to I'm going to put this box up on the chair. Nobody's allowed, nobody's going to look in it. We have all the camera coverage. So we have me walking upstairs with the box, setting it down on the chair, all eyes on it 100% of the time. And these guys, all of them participants tried to get it. 5 of them got wrong. But this one dude was like, he didn't even put any kind of description. He's like, he said a pocket watch. He wrote it down on a pocket watch. But when he said it, he said all he did, he saw the box in the chair. But as he was walking over to the box, he saw the camera and he waved in front of the camera and then walked over to the box and pulled the pocket watch out. And then he came back.
Okay.
But the crazy thing is we had one of our camera guys up at the top of the stairs looking down. And he says that on camera, we captured light changing over that camera that he said that he had been waving in front of. Now, I have yet to see this video, but if we actually captured that, then
that's incredible.
Yeah. And so on top of all of this, we have EEGs. We have EEG headbands. We're monitoring the alpha, beta, gamma, delta, theta waves. And so, we don't really know exactly what we're going to be doing with the data yet. We don't know, we're not neurologists. We can't, but we have the data. We're collecting it regardless,
Sure.
Right? So at some point we'll be able to use it. But we also have environmental data that we're getting live. We have a special system that was built just for this. We have a live computer program. All of it's run through a mesh network with repeaters that allow all the data to come back to a computer, and we can watch the graphs live.
Okay.
We have just found some incredible things.
So how does people get to volunteer for this at these conferences you guys are going to, or is this?
So these are actually you have to pay to get in. We don't have any funding for any of these, and these are things because we're taking over a location for a week. And so there's a lot of expenses that go into that, including the food, the cost of the location. So basically, participants, it's $1,500 for the week, but we stay on site the whole time.
Okay.
So not only do you get your food and beverage and everything covered for the week, but you also have full access to the location the entire time. So like, when we're not doing an experiment, you have free reign.
Okay.
That includes nighttime, daytime, whatever. You can go and you can investigate. But then we also have the experiments where you would be in we try to get participants in at least one experiment per day. Because we run experiments roughly 3 or 4 days. It depends on the location. With this one, we're going to be running them for 4 days. And so it's at least one experiment per day. Sometimes it's 2.
Okay.
But this time is going to be cool because we have Nick and Tessa actually coming out. They're going to be participants and subjects in the experiments for 1 day.
Wow.
We got him coming out for 8 hours. That's all I asked him. And I was like, dude, just give me 8 hours. He's like, all right.
So is this going to be available to be watched on video or on?
Yeah. Actually, we're already working on, like right now, season 1 is already out.
Okay.
It's, we had the Wraith Chasers with us come out, Brandon, Chris, and Mike. And that one's out on Scare Network. The Scare Network. But then I know he's put it on other places too, like Vimeo and some other. But season 2 is in the works, and that one was at the Broadwell Funeral Home, and we've already seen the first episode and the second episode, but they haven't. We've just seen the rough drafts of them, right? So they are in the works. So season 2 is on the way. Nice. When that comes out, we'll have that announcement on my page, on the IDC Devices page, and on the Institute page.
All right. And then you've got the equipment available people can see it on your Instagram and Facebook page. And man, you've got me kind of stunned here because of the steps so far ahead of what I'm still doing.
Yeah, a lot of people are really unaware of a lot of the work that's being done, not just by JW and myself, but by others too. There's some fantastic people in this field, and we just got to try to keep putting people that work, not the people, but the work, right? We want to put the work out in the forefront so people can see it.
All right. Well, thanks for being on. Would you hold on just a minute? I'll talk to you some more after the show. But thanks for being on, and I think people are going to be watching your stuff here.
All right. I appreciate you, man.
Take care. So much going on there. I couldn't stop. I know I'm running out of time, but to be able to get people to be able to astral project and see these things and do these things without that talent. I mean, most of these people who do it have that talent already, and it's just incredible. So guys, joining the UNX Network, unxnetwork.com. You can find out what all you get out of it. You get access, of course, to the blog. You get access to the newsletter. You get access to the magazines. And those come out, if you're a member, to you by email every month. You can pick it up in paper too, but it's got everything you need right there. We are so far ahead of the curve on so much of this stuff, just like Austin is. So check it out and come back next week because we've got more guests for you. And of course, all of our shows that are in-house are available on YouTube. And I'm just kind of still amazed at this new step, like I said, I got to get onto his website and see if there's some equipment there that I can't live without, because it's just a whole new way of looking at things. And I guess that's about it for me. So all I can ask of you good people is to stay spooked. Good night.